Should Michigan fans root for Ohio State? Is the question that I'm going to be addressing today. Um, I am, actually. And the reason that I am is because I think it can actually indirectly help Michigan in the long term. Don't get it twisted. I do not like Ohio State. I don't like their fans. I do not root for them pretty much under any circumstance. But I'm making an exception and swallowing my pride this time because I think that Michigan needs a fire lit under their ass. I'd like to believe that seeing your most hated rival win a title 2 consecutive years would do that. Will it is a different question, because I think objectively it's a fair question to ask, well, what is Michigan's culture? The thing that I've noticed over the years with Ohio State or Oregon or Georgia is that those teams do what is required to build championship caliber teams. They pay the right guys, they find the right coaches, they make offers that recruits and guys can't refuse, and they just go all in. That's just kind of what you gotta do nowadays. And Michigan fans, I think if we're being honest with ourselves, it's safe to say that we do have a record of being a little pretentious. The Michigan man. What does that mean now? Like, I know what it used to mean, right? But what does it mean right now? Like, what is the standard? Because the standard to me should be to compete for titles. Some people brush off the whole blue blood thing, but I still believe in it at its core. Michigan is a blue blood program. They've won a lot of games throughout history. They've produced some of the best players in history. They should be more competitive on a regular basis. They should be beating their rivals more often. They should be competing for titles, but they're not. And it's frustrating. And it sucks to have to watch, because I've already dealt with this as a Michigan fan with Brady Hoke and Rich Rodriguez, and I'm not interested in seeing that again. But I think under Sharon Moore, that is the fire that Michigan is playing with right now. They're playing with fire, and they're on the doorstep of another era like that. And it leads me to that question, well, what is our culture? And Ohio State fans will just use the same dull talking points like, oh, well, cheaters are going to cheat, can't win without cheating, the cunts up north can't spell scum without blah, blah, blah. I don't care. You can say whatever you want. There's no point in, I could address the whole Connor Stallions thing if I felt like it, but it'll just fall on deaf ears, because Ohio State fans they're not going to like Michigan anyway, so what does it matter, right? But like, what is the real analytical answer to that question? Because it's not hiring the right coaches. It's not getting the right guys to come play for you. I mean, quite honestly, I'm like this close, seriously, to just saying, screw it, just hand out millions and millions and millions of dollars to like every elite player in the transfer portal that you can. Screw it. You get the money. So why not? Ohio State does it. Ohio State spends tens of millions of dollars every year on their roster, and it works. In case you haven't noticed, it works. We haven't. We paid $12 million for one guy who, honestly, in hindsight being 2020, shouldn't have even started this year. They should have given him the J.J. McCarthy treatment. They should have found a good, solid college veteran to be the starter, and you can sprinkle Bryson if you wanted. Get his feet wet that way, and then have him take up the mantle next year. But that's not the case. In fact, he started the entire season. He played every meaningful game for Michigan this year and regressed the entire way. So that's proof that the coaching staff is not where it should be. Our number one receiver was a true freshman, 18-year-old kid who was playing in high school a few months ago. It's not good enough. And like our players were like getting their ass kicked against Ohio State, and they were still talking shit to the opponent, like looking like fools. Like it's like 27-9, dude. Like keep your mouth shut. You're not talking the talk because you're not walking the walk right now. Nothing Michigan has done this year or last year has worked. And I'm not going to question the heart or the integrity of the people in the building, like as human beings. I'm not going to base that off of the whole Connor Stallions thing. I think that's kind of dumb, to be completely honest with you. There's far more important things in life than football. I understand that some shady things were done by some people in the building, but there's more to life than that. There's more to people's intentions and integrity and hearts than that. That's between them and God, quite honestly. And Michigan insiders will tell you that Sharon Moore is a highly integral person and does have a high standard, but I'm not seeing it. And I'm very worried about their future going forward. And honestly, man, like optics matter in this business. They do. Optics matter. Michigan right now is perceived as a team, not just by Ohio State fans, by the way, but they're a team that is perceived to be undisciplined, poorly coached, and lack integrity to some degree. Now all those things could be complete bullshit. They could be, but that's not what the optics are telling us. And those optics matter because those optics are what's going to attract coaches. It's definitely what's going to attract recruits and their families to want to send their son here to play or whatever. The optics tell me that Michigan's a poorly coached team who thinks that their shit doesn't stink. And quite honestly, it seems like the players are going through the motions as well. I've heard some rumors from other like Michigan insiders on YouTube that there was guys in the locker room talking about how like they knew that they were going to get blown out all week because they knew the preparation just wasn't there. I'm like, that doesn't happen at Ohio State or Georgia or Oregon or whatever. That doesn't happen there. Like that's the number one difference between the two programs, honestly, is that it seems like every few years Michigan is rebuilding and then Ohio State's reloading. There's a massive difference. Like I don't know what it is, man. There is something a little different about the DNA makeup in Columbus than in Ann Arbor. Kind of goes back to that pretentiousness thing to a degree. Like I think that a lot of Michigan people, especially alumni who actually went to the school, kind of look at the whole, well, Michigan is one of the best public universities in the country, and we're smarter, and blah 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 blah. Like nobody gives a shit, man. It's college football. The student athlete died years ago. This is a business. These guys they're professionals by all accounts. They're all getting paid. And if that is our culture, then it's time to tear it down and start over. Because I'm not happy about it, and it's not good enough. So I think Michigan needs to take a step back and really think about it. It's definitely annoying, but go blue.